Welcome in, everybody. It's Sunday evening. Week 13 is concluded. This is the Sunday Reaction Show. I'm your Shepard, alongside the commissioner himself, Commissioner Rhino. How are you today, gentlemen?
I'm doing good.
Gentle Rhino.
Gentle Rhino. Rhino claws.
Rhino Claus. Yep. Rhino Claus. I bet your grandchildren call you that. No?
No, not
Maybe.
no. I should no. I should tell them start calling me Rhino claws. They probably confuse them though. They probably confuse them.
But it works. It works. If you don't shave now for the rest of the month. Don't shave. Don't shave the beard and the goatee, and you'll have that thing. Start growing it out more.
Oh, yeah.
You used to have it longer, didn't you?
Yeah.
When I first met you, I first saw my first photo of you. Oh,
I had a goatee down to my chest.
That's right.
All the way down here.
And then Baker,
I cut it to look professional while I was looking for work. So now I could grow it back now.
I'm sure you could. All right, well, folks, I do want to get to some important Week 13 fantasy takeaways that took place throughout the slate. The majority of them definitely earlier on, and then of course as the games proceed, the 4 o'clock games, you get more plays, you get more takes. But there's definitely a few that I did want to get to or jump to right away, Rhino, and I'm sure you'll have your just opinion on any of them, whether we're in concert together and agree, or whether you perhaps have a different angle to it. I don't think so. I mean, because this is pretty. So. It's pretty cut and dry on some of them. I mean, let's just start right here. An impressive road win for the Chargers in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Right, coming off of the bye, and Kirk Cousins still threw 4 interceptions today.
When do we hit that panic button with Cousins? Because he hasn't looked good, man. He has not looked good. I mean, Bijan Robinson had a good game.
Bijan had a good game, yeah, at the expense of the passing offense, right? I mean, not at the expense, but not in spite. Or, in spite of the passing offense, Bijan had a good game. So, we're all happy about that. Of course, fantasy managers with Bijan are very happy about that, sure. But if you're a Drake London owner, you're not very happy. It was a respectable game. He got close to again close to 100 yards. But I mean,
47 total yards, I think.
But again, the passing offense is not looking good. When are we hitting the panic meter on Kirk? Well, I mean, shit. He's a borderline start now.
Borderline start.
He's a borderline start in fantasy. And now, if you're the actual Atlanta Falcons fan base, the people that go to the Mercedes-Benz Dome and they love their Falcons. And if you're a fan of the team and you want to see them do well because you brought him in to do well, which they have for the most part, you're kind of concerned. Yeah, you're kind of concerned. But let's not forget something very important. I mean, this is 4 interceptions out of Kirk Cousins is not really anything new.
No, but he didn't look good. Throw the ball.
We've seen this before. You could trace Kirk Cousins' erratic performances all the way back to the DC days, and then of course with the Vikings as well. I would say that there's good enough evidence with the dude that he could kind of correct himself. He could correct himself. He doesn't need Dave Canales like Bryce Young does.
He could correct himself faster than Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers.
Well, there's really no correcting that at this point.
But it's funny. So
there's no correcting that.
There's some direct correlation between both of them a little bit with the Achilles tear.
Yeah.
You can tell sometimes when Kirk Cousins is throwing, he doesn't have the zip on the ball.
Okay, so if you wanted to do that, I would say, and again, we're not the doctors.
No.
You're not the doctor. I'm sure as hell ain't the doctor. We aren't those doctors. But from what I do know, one of them had the tear on the heel that you would need for power.
Mm-hmm.
One of them had the tear on the opposite leg, where you do need that leg, that plant leg, I suppose, for the power. At this point, Rhino, I don't remember what I had for breakfast today, so I'm not. So I don't necessarily. I'd have to look up which heel Rogers tore and whether mechanics purposes, if that's his power plant leg or not. Again, I don't know if that's. I don't know. Like Aaron Rodgers is throwing behind a poor offensive line. Well, I'll put it. All right, if we're going to stand Aaron Rodgers for a second, there was one or two plays I did see that he came out of the pocket. He's running pretty nicely. Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm not sure if his heel or both of their injured feet are necessarily the reason for the poor performances. We're talking about, again, there's a lot more to dive into in terms of Rodgers. Oh, I didn't even want to get to that game, to be honest with you.
No, I don't either.
I don't even want to get to that game. It was again like this. I will say this. I'm surprised that the Seahawks did pull it out. The Jets had them on the road. The Jets should have won that game.
They should have won the damn game.
And Kenny Skywalker is grounded. He's not in the sky. He's not a Jedi. Kenny Skywalker is not playing well. Again, I've said it prior to the kickoff today. He's not playing. He's not playing well. I can't remember the last time you've seen a good performance out of Kenny Skywalker. Yes, we've been getting good points from Kenny Skywalker because of both rushing and receiving yards combined. Would get you to, around the century mark. Yeah. He hasn't scored in a couple of weeks. He's not playing well. Yeah. JSN had a good game. Devontae Adams scored. That's all I wanted. I don't forget that game.
Forget that game. One last thing on the Chargers game. Our boy disappeared.
Which boy on the Chargers game? Which one of these? Bear. Oh my gosh, Disley Bear. Disley Cub? Sniper's upset. Well, she's not. You know what? That's not upset. She's mad. Sniper's mad. It's my fault. I
didn't expect a big old 0.
I was wondering about that. Whether he got hurt or not, or.
Well, I know he's going. I know he in the game.
What happened there?
Yeah.
Let's take this one. What's up, GOAT? Would I rather start Khalil Shakir or Juwan Jennings? I would, if I had to pick between the two, I would pick Juwan Jennings.
I pick Juwan Jennings too.
If I had to pick between the two. Yeah. Is Amari Cooper official? I mean, has that been official?
The only thing I know, Keon Coleman's out.
I know that part. Yeah. Yes, I do know that.
I don't know about Cooper.
I also know that it looked pretty shitty, wintry, but I don't think it's going to be that bad during the game. Like, yeah, it's coming down, but it's not that storm status that we've all been.
No, I think last night.
That was last night, correct? Yeah. And you know what? And I'm going to kick myself for this. And we'll know about this moving forward, Jesus, GOAT. When the mayor of Buffalo, or when the officials from Highmark Stadium or the Buffalo Bills put the request in for the mafia, for the people of Buffalo to volunteer to come shovel out the stadium, then they know that it isn't going to be that terrible for the game. So you can actually put your ass into the seat. That's when you know that you're okay to go. When they call on the people of the city of Buffalo and any of the surrounding areas, come shovel. Obviously, you get paid for it, I think. That's how you know it's not expected to come storming down during the game, because they expect a full stadium of seats, of people in the stands. So we should just keep that in mind moving forward. Let's say the game was on Saturday, there would be no call to come shovel and plow out, because there's no way they would have been able to play that game yesterday outdoors. Yeah. So that's that. Let's get back to that Charger game, because this is key. We had a lot of start-sit questions between, well, really going back even Wednesday, prior to the Thursday slate, prior to the holiday slate. Regarding Gus Bus or Kamani Vidal, and then it became official that JK was going on IR. We thought that he was going to miss. Then a couple of days after that, he was put on IR. Nevertheless, the questions began in the middle of the week regarding Gus Edwards and Kamani Vidal. And, the two of them combined today for, I think, 50 yards?
Something like that. It wasn't very good.
I think both of them combined for 10 carries, 50 yards. Okay. So we're really no better off than we were going into this game against the Falcons. Now it's going to be like, should I even start Gus Edwards or Kamani Vidal? Well, now it was more like, should I start Gus Edwards versus this guy, Kamani Vidal, if he plays? Now it's like, no, you're not sitting. You're sitting both at this point. Yeah. Even though Purdy has that injury concern, it is a concern. It is. I'm not going to pretend that it's not a concern, Goat. If they're going to give him the green light right now, I would take Jawan Jennings with a sub 100% Brock Purdy over Khalil Shakir, his involvement in the offense with Josh Allen, with a full healthy Josh Allen. Consider it this way. It's almost like, okay, fine. Here's your depth chart after the quarterbacks. Who's he throwing to? He's going to be throwing to, or who's he going to be targeting? He's going to be targeting Jawan Jennings. He's going to try to attempt to target Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and then CMC. Or you can maybe move up CMC a little bit, move him in place of Kittle, and make Kittle fourth on that pecking order. Khalil Shakir is going to be fourth on that pecking order too. If Amari Cooper plays, you've got Amari Cooper. You've got James Cook. You've got Mac Hollins, ladies and gentlemen. You've got his tight end. Khalil Shakir could get you a few catches. Curtis Samuel might play. But again, I don't expect this to be a high passing affair both ways. I don't.
No.
If you have to play one of these two wide receivers, I think I would go with Jawan Jennings.
Same here.
Deebo Samuel hasn't looked good. He hasn't been playing well.
Mm-mm.
He looks really bad. I heard something very funny the other day. So I can't even take credit for it. Deebo Samuel hasn't played well since he slapped the shit out of his long snapper. It's true though. It's all gone downhill since he's since he had that incident on the sidelines with the freaking long snapper. He has not. Yeah, so I mean, look, I don't know if there's something wrong with him, actual wrong with him, but I think Jawan Jennings is a pretty decent start. It's a division game, Rhino.
Yeah.
Division game. And
Jacksonville made a game out of it.
This is a lot closer of a score than what the actual 4 quarters of action played out to be.
Yeah.
It really is a lot closer. And it's a divisional game. So Jacksonville, the Texans did kind of let them creep back into it. Or whether the Texans allowed them to, or just the Jaguars finally got themselves together with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to finally make this a game. Nevertheless, Joe Mixon once again, no surprise.
He started slow. He started slow, then turned it up in the second half.
Well, they all did.
Yeah,
they all did.
I mean, Nico got his. Tank really didn't do crap.
Nothing.
Knox was 5 for 61. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna give you your flowers because you said that CJ is not an outdoor cat.
He's not an outdoor cat.
No.
He's barely been an indoor cat this season also, but he's not an outdoor cat. I don't think he didn't really have a bad okay, so it's not like he wasn't lighting the scoreboard up. He had, I think, 200 yards at somewhere around early in the fourth quarter. He probably he tacked on from there. He did find Dalton Schultz in the end zone. Nico had a 100-yard game. Yeah, that's right. So after 3 quarters, I believe CJ Stroud had 200. Nico Collins had half of that. So, yeah, I mean, he's not – Tank Dell is the one that's, actually, suffering because of it. We're going to continue to speculate on whether the dude is fully 100% from his injuries from a year ago. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that's affecting him. I don't believe that because he still wins. He still separates. I just don't think C.J. Stroud is finding him. I think C.J. Stroud has regressed this season.
Yeah.
And if Joe Mixon wasn't on it,
and everybody else regressed except for Nico.
And if it wasn't for Joe Mixon, this team would be in bad shape.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a good thing. They brought in Joe Mixon for a reason. They wanted to be balanced. They didn't have much of a rushing attack to begin with.
They didn't.
Well, they have a very good running game now, but the passing game is, no one's scared. No one's scared of that passing game. Oh, I knew she was going to. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, we know.
Is it?
It's not our fault.
No, it's the Shepard's fault. Mel called him a dog about a half hour ago. She called him a dog.
Called who a dog?
Disley.
Oh.
I said, no, he's a cub. It's the Disley cub. Get it? Bear, cub. Look, I got a couple of things to say here. When and this is going to kind of sound like a catch-22, kind of, sort of, but it's not. When you have a good team, when you've done well from draft process, so preseason, and played the waiver wires, made trades, when you have a good team with a good roster, you're not going to set or always set the full optimal lineup.
Yeah.
Because the team is good, the bench is good. You're not. It's hard actually. It's hard to set a fully 100% optimal lineup if you have a really good team. It's the teams that are shitty, right? It's the teams that are not doing well that set the optimal lineup because they've gotten all they have are those best players. If that makes sense, I know it makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes.
I'm not sure if
it makes perfect sense. Trust me.
I'm not sure if Sniper has that connection. Only for the fact that it's because she's still brand new to fantasy, even in the second season. When you have good players that you have to make these lineup decisions, lineup calls. It's going to be difficult to always set the most optimal lineup, and then you want to combine the fact of. Okay, now you're talking about a really deep roster with a lot of starting spots, and look what happens. We started Will Disley Cub when it should have been maybe another tight end. We're still going to advance anyway.
Yeah,
we're still going to advance. I mean, I think Gus Bus may have been on one of these teams that we didn't start, so it's not like we're wrong all the time. We're not. Look, we're gonna take some L's.
Yeah.
Doing what we do, no one is 100%. So we're gonna take some L's, and we're certainly going to admit when we take L's. But we're also gonna
Sometimes.
when we say sit. Nevertheless.
All right. We gotta get to Paul's question.
Go. Let's get to Paul's question. Paul Goat.
All right. Hey guys, is Pollard a solid flex option rest of the season? I'm sad because I believe I ruined my team by trading Bucky Irving.
I'm sad too, Paul. I'm very
Yeah,
sad
but
for you.
you probably didn't know Bucky Irving was going to be Bucky Irving when you traded him. If you traded from Pollard, knowing Pollard is number one running back, that's not a bad trade.
I mean that's very
Houston's rush defense is pretty good. So
that's sweet of you to say. Because I mean to make Paul Goat feel better, because Paul is a goat. Yeah, I get it. But is Pollard a solid flex play for the rest of the season? So
not knowing what the rest of your team looks like, it's hard to comment on it.
No, well, I'll comment on it. We're going to presume that Paul Goat is going to be playing through to week 17. That's what we're going to presume. That's number one, because the Goats are going to win championships here. So that's first things first. Second would be I would want to have right in front of me, or I need to, study it more in depth. The Titans' schedule. That's number two. Number three. Then I would add into for what Rhino was just saying. I would want to what's our alternative? Who else would we be putting into that flex and sitting Tony Pollard? Those are the $1 million questions. If it's Tony Pollard versus like Jalen Warren, just argument's sake.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Warren, depending on who the Steelers are playing at the time, may have a good opportunity for him. If it's Tony Pollard versus Rashad White.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just throwing names out there. I would say it depends on the Titans situation. Now, the Titans are usually going to be playing from behind, usually. But what's been good about Pollard is, the man's usually on the field.
Here's his other
regardless.
Here's his other options: Rashad White, Jaden Reed, Tillman, and Downs.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it just popped. He just.
I didn't even see that. So, no. I mean, again, if it's Tony Pollard versus Rashad White is like damn near not losing his job, but he's lost most of his opportunity.
Yeah.
I know I did see that he was just in the red zone, but he got stuffed.
Yes, he did.
He's losing his opportunity, Rashad White. Bucky Irving is clearly the better running back, the more explosive running back. So if it was over Rashad White, I mean, that to me, this is a no-brainer. It would be Tony Pollard, Jaden Reed. This is technically Green Bay's wide receiver 1 or 1A, if you want to call it like that. Sure. Okay. Cedric Tillman, Cedric the Entertainer. I don't know. That would be tricky. I generally like to have the running back in the flex over a wide receiver 4.
Yeah.
I want the running back. I think the running back, again, has more opportunity than having three wide receivers on the field.
Yeah. So White just had a 38-yard run to win the game for Tampa Bay in overtime.
All right. So it took 5 quarters. Right? It took 4.5 quarters for Rashad White to get that.
Yeah.
I bet you had a little bit something to do with maybe protection. Maybe it had a little bit something to do with this was an important game. Let's make sure that our veteran is on the field in overtime. It may have had something to do with that. If Paul, if you take a look at the game, or tomorrow, or even later tonight, when the snap percentages are more or less released, Bucky Irving has the majority of the snaps.
Yeah.
On this team. And but look, that's a good game for Rashad White. So you have a good option. Let's say Tony Pollard. Let's say that are the Titans playing the Chiefs week 15, and may want to go with a softer matchup for Rashad White.
Yeah.
Without knowing for sure, Paul. But please continue to come back.
And just with the flex too, play their matchups too. You can play
what I just said, right?
Yeah.
Depending on like look, if Tony Pollard is playing, if the Titans are playing the Eagles team that's holding Derrick Henry to, not a wonderful game, not a terrible game, but not a wonderful game. They're playing, a team that's very good against the rush. You've got flexible options. That's why they call it the flex.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Downs, we don't know yet. I don't know. We don't know the severity of that injury.
No.
But what we do know is this: guys completing 12 passes. That's what we know.
Yep.
Would there have been maybe a little bit more? Would we have seen maybe an uptick if Josh Downs was on the field? Maybe.
But there's also some really bad drops too by the receivers.
And I saw an Adonai Mitchell drop.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was really Adonai Mitchell's fault. Maybe I think the defender may have gotten his hand in there. I think whoever was on the call may have given the defender a little bit more credit than he should have gotten. I think Adonai Mitchell should have had that ball. Nevertheless,
with 12 passes for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's right there. The 3 touchdowns. That's the most telling stat. Plus the 48 yards, and that was a freaking ballsy damn call to go for the 2-point.
Yeah, it was, and I'm not mad at it. Okay, no. So we're talking about now apples and oranges. Both are fruits, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 12 passes for 109 yards out of the passer is garbage.
No,
right?
I agree.
He still got you 2 touchdowns on 1-yard touchdown completions. He did get a 2-point conversion.
And he ran in to himself.
And he ran it. So Anthony Richardson, the fantasy performer, yes, this was a good game. If you're, I don't know if again, I'm not sure. Michael Pittman is nowhere to be found in this game, right? No. Where's Michael Pittman? Josh Downs. Would Josh Downs have led to 175 yards, 200 yards passing for
Probably.
Anthony Richardson? Maybe. But back to why I flashed this particular banner, this takeaway. This is important because again, you got a lot of teams, including the Colts, right? The Colts are off next week. No, so never mind. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of teams on bye now. The Colts are one of them, so it's not like you have to make the decision to start Anthony Richardson to next week versus you're going to have to put another quarterback in. But if you're heading to week 15, 16, 17, and you've had Anthony Richardson on your bench and you've been playing the matchups, well, that's a different story. If this is a super flex league, much like the Scott Fish Bowl, much like the Warrior Bowl, much like the Jazzy Bowl, much like many leagues are super flex nowadays, most dynasties, you have to play Anthony Richardson. There's no screwing. There's really no screwing around with it. Playing Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I'm glad that the Colts won the game. It kind of makes them relevant still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes them relevant. We want a Colts team that's going to be playing for something versus a Colts team that is
for a wild card spot
versus a Colts team that's going to be playing the spoiler.
Yeah.
Holy snaps. Oh yeah, she's not happy. I know you're not. Should have been left. Look at this man.
I know.
Look at this
What?
man. Media. Wow. Nonsense media. Who got dog walk today? Well, I know who got dog walk today. Anyone who started Taysom Hill got dog walked. Now I was really gonna pummel him. I was gonna pummel him, but I think he got hurt like relatively bad.
Yes, they hit me card off the field.
At least for a lower extremity. He might be done for the year, maybe. Nevertheless, I was about 2 quarters shy of full on sit for the rest of the year. I said, yeah, you probably had one more game out of him. No, you had about 2 more quarters out of him.
Yeah, the Rams kept him in check. Rams kept him in check. They hadn't kept too many people in check, but
I mean, like, it's not difficult.
no.
It's not difficult because, like, when he has that type of explosion, if you're a competent, professional defensive coordinator with a defensive coordinating staff, and you've got like a spare 2 hours of your time at night, all you have to do is just turn on the film and see what he did.
Yep.
And just stop it in its tracks.
Yep.
It's going to be difficult. What's more difficult is for the offensive coordinator to get any more creative, gimmicky. That's what's more difficult. It's not the defense it's actually easier. How are you gonna? Nevertheless, yeah, I don't want to pummel on the man. Again, if you started Taysom Hill, folks, I apologize. I mean, I said you were gonna get viable one more game. It didn't happen, and that's the end of it. Now you need another tight end. That's the bad news. Now you need another tight end. Max Corleone doesn't need another tight end. I think he's got like Brock. I think he's got Brock, and he may have like Trey McBride also. Who knows? Mad Max.
I worry about DK too, because Geno Smith isn't a very good quarterback, and JSN is eating into DK's stats now, and that's what we were talking about last night, wasn't it? Or Friday night, either Friday night or last night we were talking about.
All the nights are the same right now.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah, I know Mad Max Corleone asked the question too if one of those nights. Like what do we make of the situation between DK Metcalf moving forward with JSN moving forward? Yeah, with the running back situation, the offense isn't really. They don't look very offensive. Let me put it to you that way. I think DK will kind of turn it around, or I think that they're going to at least make a concerted effort to draw plays up for him. Kind of like, I know we've been throwing this word out a lot, or at least I've been throwing this word out a lot, like, recalibrate.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see some of that where it'll be detrimental. It's going to hurt JSN and the JSN fantasy managers while DK starts to eat again. Because they both, I don't see it both ways. I don't see both of them having monster 100-point performance and 100 yards, 5 catches. No, I see the offense is really working in favor of one wide receiver and then just very minimal pass volume the rest of the way. It's what do I make of it? I think we'll get DK Metcalf to kind of recorrect itself, recalibrate. Been using the word recalibrate. I like it.
But he's also touchdown dependent too now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
He's not getting the volume like JSN is.
I mean, but is it something else though, right? Like, is it like besides the Geno effect? Is there something else? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Besides Geno, I don't think so. Let me see this. What do we 9 targets.
Yeah.
He's looking for him. He's not connecting with him.
Mm-mm.
9 targets for DK Metcalf. He's still the alpha in this system. You've got JSN that only had 4 targets, caught all 4 of them. That's more of a tribute to JSN.
Yeah.
Both the balls and the designs for JSN. Noah Fant, 4 targets, 3 catches. Tyler Lockett, who's dead on the waivers for Jonesy. 3 targets, 3 catches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like this. I think DK, it'll correct itself. It'll correct itself because he's the target earner here. Did Josh Jacobs walk the dog for the second straight week? He sure did walk that dog.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs, RB2 maybe, RB3.
No, he's still like a good amount.
Sniper's running back, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
I think he's up there. No, he's got to be top 5.
Yeah, he's top 3
just on touchdowns alone.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, no, he's dog walking people.
As he should be.
coming from the Raiders fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a good acquisition. We knew that was going to be a good acquisition. Yeah, he didn't have a great game. Yeah, I needed to check that again. I may have spoken too soon. He had 74 in the air, along with the 40 on the ground. So that got him over the 100. Yep.
Yeah.
4 catches, 74. And then, yeah, it was a good game, nevertheless. It was a good game at home. Appreciate you, nonsense. Appreciate you. Can't believe the Vikings snuck in that one.
It made me happy.
Vikings are a good team. Much to many of our surprises.
Yeah.
Right, and like freaking 10-2. Are they freaking 10-2?
I think 10-3, or I think they have 3 losses. I know Rams is one of their losses. I think they lost 2 in a row, and they might either 2 wins or 2 losses or 3 losses.
I think it's 2. They just got the win today. The defense, yeah, got to tip the hat a little bit to the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Cardinals almost pulled this one out. I think it's about time. This upcoming Tuesday, the Waiver Wire Advice Show, where we start stashing the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they had the Vikings pretty held scoreless for much of this game. Much of the game. That's right. Justin Jefferson didn't score again.
I don't think Aston did either. Jones did.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Mundit did.
Yeah. That's right.
That helped nobody. Yeah.
Yeah. JJ had almost 100. 7 catches. That's 17 points. 17 PPR points without scoring. That's probably a wide receiver 1 still.
Yeah.
Cam Akers had 4 carries for 22 yards. Sam Darnold has, I don't know why he's carrying the ball for 4 times. Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 22 yards. That's not great. That's no wonder. Yeah. No wonder they have Cam Akers carrying the ball and Ty Chandler carrying the ball. You're going to need more out of your running back, your primary running back.
But he's always been a better catch.
Yeah, I know. That was always my knock. That was always my knock on him.
Yeah.
He's not a good ball carrier. He's a very good pass-catching running back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts.
You got that already?
Oh, we got that one. Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, look at my guy here. Pollard plays Jacksonville twice. Cincinnati. Yeah, it's
I
good.
probably leave him in the flex.
They're he's definitely worth the conversation along with Rashad White. So like, just because Tony laid the clunker today and he wasn't a Tiger today, we could definitely go back to Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
In either of these situations.
And like I said, Houston has a good rush defense too, so I expect too much from him. But he's the number one running back. He gets probably same percent of the volume out of the backfield. So no.
For the flex option, I think we could go back to Tony.
Yeah.
This could be an outlier. Tony's been having a pretty solid season, with the exception of one here, the exception of another. I believe, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Wasn't a
It wasn't a good one, but I think he scored, so it made him a decent play. Yeah, trophy stealer. I have cup in a couple of my leagues, and he shit the bed today. But so Stafford wasn't playing good. Stafford looked like crap.
How about
he had like 43 yards freaking passing in the first half? Just god awful, man.
How about the fact that you're so busy and concerned with trying to guard Puka and Cup, and Demarcus Robinson's the one that's getting open and scoring.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Demarcus Robinson must have more touchdowns than both of them at this point. Must.
Well, yeah, because he's been healthy all season. So,
how about the time moving forward where all of them have been on the field? How about that?
Very close to him and Puka. Yeah, but I feel you.
Every time I look up, Demarcus Robinson's in the end zone. When I look up, I don't hear Cooper Kupp's in the end zone. I hear Demarcus Robinson's in the end zone. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I got Demarcus Robinson on the brain. I don't know. Ville Omare, I'm up 16, and he's got CMC and Chubb left. Colby Goat. You're up 16. And he's got CMC and Chubb left. I'm not sure if it's going to be a close game.
I think I go Bailey.
This is going to be a close game. You're up 16, and he's got two of those guys left, and you need to pick between one of these wide receivers. One of these wide receivers to, let's say, maybe get you, 15. I don't think Ville is getting you 15 unless he scores. Neither of them are getting you 15 unless they score.
Same thing with Amari Cooper, probably.
Like none of that, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough game here. Let's cross our fingers for Amari Cooper. Let's cross our fingers for Amari Cooper. That's who I'm going with.
I'd say Bailey.
Ville scores. Ville's been doing what? 4 catches, 80 yards, 4 catches, 70 yards.
Something like that.
All right, so what does that add up to? Let's say it's 80. Let's give him 80 yards and 4 catches. That's 12. Now let's tack on another 6 for the touchdown. 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 points. Now you can add that 18 on top of the 16.
Gives you 34.
34.
And Chubb's going against Denver's.
He'd be up 30. Colby would be up 34 points with CMC and Chubb left. Now you could cut the 34 in half. Just give it to them equally. 15, 16, 16. Yeah, it's a close game.
Yeah.
Close game. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. If he's playing. God damn. I mean, the dude's been out for weeks. You would think he'd be healthy at this point. He's been out for weeks. Yo, Turgay, Goat. What's up, Turgay? Goat. It seems like I cannot trust Pollard and Brees anymore. Well, I mean, we just you listen. You heard the conversation regarding Tony Pollard and our guy Paul Goat, right? So it's like, okay, like he had a bad game, and he had a bad game probably like 2 weeks ago. It wasn't the best game. This is still the Titans' like primary running back. We don't know what Tajay Spears is really going to offer this team. Brees Hall, on the other hand, now this is a different set of circumstances because Brees Hall is supposed to be anchoring your running back room, and he's not. That's a different story altogether. I blame Tony Pollard for his failures, but not Brees. Who's the RB1? Yeah, Saquon. Yeah. If Saquon played for the Jets this season, he would fail so bad. I get it. So you know what you're really saying right now? You're saying, like, look, it's offensive line play that's hurting Brees Hall.
Yep.
Because look at Saquon Barkley and look at what he's doing with a good offensive line.
Yep.
So I mean, like, it's offensive line play. And in terms of Tony Pollard and the Titans, I mean, like, look, yeah, the Titans' offensive line isn't the best either. I mean, either that or Will Levis just sits there like a statue and gets sacked all the time. So it's one or the other. Tony Pollard is a borderline flex play, and you're going to have to continue to roll with Brees, my friend. I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm a Brees manager myself in a couple. The thing is, with the one team that I'm 9-3, that team also has Devon A-Chain. So it's like, okay, it's like if Brees doesn't do that well, at least I got that. At least I got the other running back that's scoring. Right. That's the difference. Yeah, I feel it. Turgay. I feel it. It's lousy. It sucks. Tony Pollard was drafted where he was in August. Earlier, maybe Labor Day. He wasn't drafted to be like an RB1. You're getting exactly what you drafted right now.
Maybe a little bit better.
You were getting better. Weeks ago. Now you're not. Now you're getting exactly what you drafted. Same goes for Chase Brown. Just opposite. We drafted the flex player. Now we're getting close to an RB1 or high RB2. Now that could change. That could change in the same way. A couple of bad games out of Chase Brown, you're getting what you drafted. Or you got a league winner. That's why they call league winners. Right, Trophy Goat? I'm gonna send you the league winner. He's already telling us that he's a league winner. He's a trophy. Pretty much over, but I'm down 20 with Bo Nix left. Nah. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
Hopefully, crazier things have happened. Kirk, go Nets. Yep, we hit on that. We hit on that nonsense. Nonsense would be able to tell us right now, immediately, whether his Achilles tear is the plant leg, the power leg, or not, versus Rodgers, his tear, and the plant leg or not. He knows it right now. Without I guarantee he doesn't even need to look it up. Yeah, they are. They absolutely are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
If you could go on the road and play defense and win, you're a good team. Justin Herbert is a really good quarterback. Lad McConkey is a home run right now.
He got hurt. They don't know how bad his knee is, but
they gotta get themselves a ground attack though.
Yeah.
They were playing with house money with J.K. Dobbins. Now there's no more house money.
No.
So there's the big difference.
They'll have to figure that out pretty quickly, because that's the most important part of their game is the rushing.
It's not snowing a boat. Well, Sniper, we should have been on top of this, right? We should have been on top of this. When the mayor of Buffalo calls on the people to go to the stadium and start shoveling, that's how you know that there's game on and it's not going to be terrible.
Have you ever been in a whiteout? A blizzard so bad that? Well, have you ever been involved in anything like that before?
I mean, I've driven through one. I've never played. I've never played one.
I was stationed in Norway.
I'm pretty sure I've been in a car with one.
I was in Norway for 3 weeks, and we had whiteouts just about every night, man, every day. Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. It's definitely it's Mother Nature weather phenomena type of deal, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's different. It's definitely different.
Need 25. It could happen.
That's likely.
Yeah.
If you're going to attach the actual numerical need to a player, that's likely when it comes to Josh Allen. Likely. Not Isaiah.
Yeah. Last night I asked you about who would you rather play, Jaden Daniels and Josh Allen?
Oh, Jaden Daniels.
And I didn't switch. I left Jaden Daniels in my lineup.
Jaden Daniels. Holy smokes.
4 touchdowns. And his efficiency was nuts. I think he had three incomplete passes for 224 yards and 48 yards rushing.
Yeah, had a really good game. How about that? Yeah. He was uber efficient. I mean, Terry McLaurin had a really good game. He got Zach Ertz in towards the end, I believe.
Yep.
Who was the fourth one? Not Brian Robinson's.
Chris Rodriguez. I believe Chris Rodriguez did.
On the pass?
Oh, no. Was it a pass? Oh, he ran one in, and then so he ran one in himself, 2 to Scary Terry, and then 1 to Ertz.
He was getting tired of the Bo Nix Rookie of the Year conversation.
Yeah, he said, "Here, hold my beer, bitch."
Wait a minute. You telling me that this dude, who they named a library after at Oregon, you think that he's going to be better than me? Yeah, he had a good game. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, we'll leave this. Tony Pollard, 35 yards. Nick Westbrook-Akine in this game. 3 catches, 2 of them are touchdowns, once again.
Yep.
8 targets. So he's actually targeted a little bit more this week because he's usually just like not even targeted. Like he's targeted twice for the 2 touchdowns. This time he was actually targeted. He actually put up 60 yards. 2 touchdowns. My Lord, what is up with this dude?
He's got good chemistry with Franklin Levis.
We're gonna get a bunch of questions for Nick Westbrook-Akine. I know it. I'm not starting him one bit. Carry on, it's time. Ha!
Nope.
Did you dance? I know that the sniper likes to dance to carry. The amount of money I would pay to see that is exorbitant. Exorbitant amount of money. Brian Robinson, 100 yards, great game, coming off the injury. Chris Rodriguez, 94 yards. So 9 less yards than Brian Robinson in this game, and a touchdown. Yep. Jaden Daniels, a rushing touchdown. Zach Ertz, the Canadians. You want to talk about a dog walk? Yeah. This was a dog walk. Yeah. Yeah, Angel, I think Josh Allen could definitely get you 25 points, one way or another. Let's not forget, this is a dude that could rush for 2 touchdowns, much like Jaden Daniels, like we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
60, 70 yards and 2 touchdowns alone, and then tack on whatever else we want to do with passing. Bucky Irving is the GOAT.
That
George GOAT.
We were talking about him earlier. He's literally at the point now where you just leave him in.
I hope we recommend it to the George GOAT, Bucky Irving. I really hope we did, because I was telling the partner in crime here, Rhino George, that there were so many Bucky Irvings that in certain situations he was definitely a start, but then in some situations I think we recommended to sit him, like we were hedging against it. And again, that's because everyone's roster is different. I hope that if you asked us about Bucky Irving, I hope we said yes, start. I hope. Saquon MVP. Yeah, Saquon could very well be the MVP if they gave it to a running back. Yeah. Oh, he'll be a fantasy MVP. Right, Targay? Which two of these teams do you think will make it to the Super Bowl? Chiefs. I like this question.
So do I.
I like this question because I was actually thinking about it myself earlier today. I think the Eagles could definitely get to the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles would beat the Lions. How about that? I do.
A healthy Eagles team with 2 healthy wide receivers.
Yeah. I'm mapping out in my head right now. Yeah, if I know that the Lions have been better on the road. They have been. They've been better on the road, even starting from last season. But I still think if the Lions were the 2 seed, Eagles, let's just say that they are the number 1 seed. They have home field. If the Lions have to go on the road, rather the other way around, I think the Eagles beat the Lions in January. I do, with that crowd.
Philadelphia, yeah.
With that crowd.
I don't think the Chiefs make the Super Bowl.
No, I do think the Chiefs make the Super Bowl. I do.
I don't think so.
I'll
tell you the team I think will make it.
How do you discount the Chiefs? How do you take out the champ?
I can.
Okay, how?
They're not playing good. They're just sneaking by. There's no convincing wins.
We saw that. Same thing happened last year. They weren't playing well, and then all of a sudden they started playing well. They started playing well and on the road as well. They went on. They went to Baltimore and they beat Baltimore. They had the home game versus Miami last season. Who the hell was in between that?
I think Steelers can beat them.
Buffalo. They had a play in Buffalo, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Chiefs.
They had to play in Baltimore. They had to play in Buffalo.
I've been saying it since last year, and I'm going to stick with it. They are battle tested at this point. Battle tested. It will be the Chiefs Eagles, which would be a repeat, by the way. It would be a repeat of the Super Bowl from a few years ago. I just, you can't take out the Chiefs until they get knocked out. Almost like none of us should have bet against Derrick Henry in fantasy until we actually see it unfold where he.
Yeah.
Oh, we do see the flurries. Why did Sniper say it's not snowing? Yeah, here there's snow coming down. It's not terrible, but there's snow. Yeah, there's snow. Sniper sees Carrie Underwood and she takes off. At the start of the 4 p.m. games, I was losing 67 to 110. Now I have 122, 119. I still have
nice.
George Goat. Motherfucking goats. George should get the goat.
Saquon, Gibbs, and Bucky in my flex. I feel good too.
Turgay is good also, man.
But see, I agree with him. I think Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh Buffalo will go.
I'm not. I'm not prepared to put Pittsburgh in that class. I'm not. No, I know. Russ had a really good game today. I know he did.
He should have had that 411 yards passing against Cincinnati's defense.
There you go. You just said it. They played the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Russ. Who did the Steelers play last week when Russ had no touchdowns?
The Browns on Thursday night. Yeah.
And either way. So let's see. Either way,
they play each other in 2 weeks or next week. Pretty quickly they play each other.
And
Chiefs and Pittsburgh.
And well, I'm not. Forget about the regular season. I'm gonna jump ahead a couple of weeks. I'm gonna go on record now and say that let's give the Steelers the division, not the Ravens. I think that you would still okay, so that goes into they're gonna wind up playing one another. So that could very well dictate, who has a higher seed moving down the road, who's gonna have home field advantage. I think the Steelers would still wind up. I think the Steelers will lose in Buffalo. I think the Steelers would wind up losing in Arrowhead.
But if they lose in Buffalo, I think Buffalo beats the Chiefs. I think the Chargers could beat if the Chargers and Chiefs play in the playoffs. I think the Chargers could beat the Chiefs.
You see, now I know you're smoking that funny stuff.
No.
As good as the Chargers are playing, the Chargers won't make it out of the wild card.
Just saying. Weirder things have happened, dude.
Of course, but you just see how the teams are stacked up.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know. Gus Edwards and Kamani Vidal really leading the charge. You can't have Herbert throwing 50 times, no matter how good the defense is playing.
Yeah, but J.K. Dobbins should be back by playoffs.
True.
Not sooner.
But we were saying though, even if he does come back week 17. Do you have? Will he be that J.K. Dobbins in week 18, being off 4 weeks? Maybe that's why they put him on IR. Make sure to give him this requisite amount of time. Mm-hmm. It may not be that serious, but then again, this dude, it's J.K. Dobbins again. Yeah. In any event, he's been doing well. He's been playing well, but still.
Oh, thank you. We try to be.
Appreciate you, George. Good. We'll be back on Tuesday, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Just because it's week 14 and waivers and the cupboard is bare, we still got to add some players, even if we're adding like for free, without having to put a claim in. We still may want to drop some plays. We still may want to audit the rosters. We still may want to stash the defenses. Maybe stash a second tight end. Maybe if you got Taysom Hill, now you need it. Now you really need it.
Yeah, now you need it.
I tried to hold it back, but I couldn't. He was always a fluke, Goats. A fluke. None of us are going to make that mistake next season. Don't be some people, and we know people that will do it. Look, the Goats here didn't have a full off season with us.
No.
Now, 2025, the Goats will have a full off season with us. Nobody's buying no Taysom Hill shit. For Commissioner Rhino, I am your Shepard. It's been a fantastic week 13. I want to thank you again. We will be back. Week 14, Tuesday waivers.
See you Tuesday. Be good humans. Have a blessed week.
Enjoy the snow game.
All right, brother.